Hi, and welcome to Time We Create, a podcast where I share behind the scenes of starting and growing and running a small creative business, but at the same time trying to juggle everything else in my life, such as family, hobbies, sports, and also being a mom, and how to keep creative in all that chaos. Today, I have a wonderful guest, Kerry. I met her through a Facebook group that is set up for moms in business. So, Kerry set it up, and I think it's a wonderful community that supports all the moms who are in business. And yeah, I really enjoyed being a part of it. But also, Kerry runs a social media company. So, she's full on with kids, with the business. And today, we have a chance to discuss, hopefully, both to get some tips and tricks on how to manage a business and the rest of the life, and also to talk about social media, which is really a hot topic nowadays because most of us are on social media. And I hope to understand how to enjoy it, how to hopefully be consistent. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kerry, for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
Can you please introduce yourself, share a bit about what you do, and yeah, thank you for joining the podcast.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me. So hi, I'm Kerry. Like you said, I've got a social media agency that has been running for just over 4 years now. Um, the I've worked in marketing for 14 years this year, and obviously being self-employed for 4 years. I was actually on maternity leave with my eldest, and due to take 12 months off. And unfortunately, there was a lot of redundancies in my employed role. So I sort of really had no choice but to leave. And then I thought, why not? Like, I've just had a baby. Let's just create a business too. Just make it all systems go. So yeah, pretty much set this up when she was 2 months old. And then COVID happened and everything. And I just thought, what am I doing? But yeah, I'm obviously doing something right because it's been 4 years now. And then so the that's one side of it, I suppose. And then the other side is the online community that I've got for mums in business. So that all came about. I obviously had my daughter when I started the business, and then a couple of years later I had my son. And then when I thought, okay, I've been in business a couple of years now, I need to actually start treating this like an actual business. Because I think because I did it so quickly, I didn't go in with that mindset. It was more of a, okay, well, I'm just going to try and make some money while I'm on maternity leave. I never actually thought, probably shouldn't admit this, but I never actually thought it would be as successful as it has been. Um, and then, like I say, when I had my son, I thought, right, I need to start taking this seriously and actually be a business. So I wanted to go out to networking events and I wanted to meet people. But if obviously you've got kids, you'll understand if they're not in full-time childcare, which my youngest wasn't at the time, still isn't. I could, it was impossible to do. The evening ones were over bedtime, and yes, I've obviously got my husband here who's fantastic. He's really hands-on, but bedtime it's like a sacred thing to me. I love it. So I wouldn't sacrifice that. And the daytime ones, obviously my kids were here. So I just had this light bulb moment one day and thought, like, I can't, I can't be playing a victim to this all my life. Like, I've got to do something about it. And what forced me was I actually got refused entry to a networking event when I had my son in his baby seat, like in car seat, and he was asleep. And the exact phrase was like, "Thanks, but it's not the right environment. So I hope you can make the next one." And I had a look around in the room, and I just thought, it's a coffee and cake morning. It's not this really formal, strict, professional environment. Like, how is it not the right environment? I just it didn't make sense to me. So that sort of pushed me into creating child-friendly networking events. So I started running them locally, in different sort of role play centres for kids, like kids cafes, soft plays, things like that. And yeah, they're just for mums in business. So bring your kid along if you've got them with you. And I've always had people who have older kids who are perhaps at college, university, but they still want to come because they're realizing the potential that's in the room, and everyone's on the same wavelength. So there's no one bats an eyelid if you've got baby sick down you, for example, or nobody bats an eyelid if you've got to run and dash to the toilet to change a nappy or something. And that's what I wanted to create, that really informal environment. And then I obviously took it online, and that's just, yeah, it's just blown up. So yeah, there's essentially two arms. That was a lot of waffling, sorry. There's essentially two arms to the business. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell, I suppose.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this. I think it's very brave that you decided to take it all in your hands. And I liked the part when you mentioned that, oh, I decided not to be a victim of the situation. I think that's very, it takes a lot of courage and, yeah, inner strength to do it and to just decide to take it all in your hands. Yeah, this sounds really very inspiring. I was wondering how, like, what were your first steps when you decided to take it in your hands? Like, how did you find, well, first of all, how did you decide to organize your own events? How did you go about it, and like, what did it take you?
So I am, I suppose, quite fortunate in the fact of all of my experience for the past 14 years. Yes, has been predominantly social media, but I've always worked in busy marketing teams. So I have quite a lot of experience in sort of running events, running launches, and doing all that stuff. So I had a good idea, I suppose. Obviously not done anything like this before. I would say I've attended a lot of networking events that I wanted to not copy. In how do I word this? I've attended a lot of networking events in the past that I didn't want my networking event to be like. So I've attended ones that are fantastic, but they're really strict, they're really formal, it's really sort of time sensitive, everything. And I just wanted the opposite. I just wanted it to be relaxed. So the first step was my first venue that I actually did. I visited this local play cafe quite often with my kids. I had no affiliation to them, no tie with them or anything. I was a customer. And I was there one day, and it was maybe like 1 or 2 days after I got basically refused entry to that networking event. And whenever I go anywhere with my kids, yes, I have quality time with my kids, but my diary, my planner is always in my bag, because if I need it, it's there. And I was sat there, and I was flicking through my planner just to have a quick look at something while my son was playing. And then I seen a woman from the next table open a laptop, and I just looked and I thought, oh, what, like, she's working while she's here with the kids. And then that just sparked this idea, and I just thought, let's mix them together. Like, I think, call me biased, I'm sorry, but I think mothers make fantastic business owners, because you are forced to be a multitasker. You're forced to have those quick decisions and that sort of that delegation. Like, it's just everything. And I just think it's fantastic for business owners. So yeah, that same day, I was lucky enough that the owner of the Play Cafe was actually in the store at the time. And I just spoke to her, and I just introduced myself and just said, look, I've got this absolutely crazy idea. What do you think about basically me hiring this venue to run a business networking event? And she was absolutely over the moon. She was like, I would love to. And I think she gave me the kick to do it quickly, because I think I'm the sort of person, if I spend too long thinking about something or planning something, I sort of end up putting it off a little bit. And I just thought, yeah, we've just got to do it. And it was like 3 weeks later that we hosted the first networking event. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm lucky in my experience in marketing. I knew how to market it, where to market it to. I'm fortunate enough, I'm surrounded by really inspirational women who are mums in business or are in a business development role in their business, in their sort of employment, sorry. So I just reached out to them and just said, look, I've got this idea, will you please come along? And yeah, I mean, God, I've started them in March last year, and there was, every single month has been a complete sellout. Yeah, that I don't really know what else to say about that, really. I try to provide as much value as possible with them. So every month I'll get a guest speaker to come. The idea behind that, I suppose, is more, I sort of took a step back and thought, what would have benefited me when I started my business, or even now, what would have benefited me in support terms. So I've had like bookkeepers, accountants, I've done ones myself on marketing. I've had like public speakers come just to sort of help people grow the confidence, and it's just all these little tools and sort of knowledge, I suppose, I believe will help sort of just build better business women. I know there's a lot of support out there. There's a lot of free support out there with like local councils and things. But from my personal experience, yes, they are fantastic, but they're hard to work around with kids. There were the ones that I looked at, and the ones that are available to me here are the full days, and it's during the day, it's during the pickup time, it's during drop-off time, it's when my kids aren't in nursery or school or whatever, or it's during half terms or something like that. So yeah, I just wanted something that was easily accessible, to help support. I think it's a support network more than anything.
Yeah, it's really great. And as I mentioned, I met you, Kerry, through the Facebook group, and I've been to, I think, several networking events, online networking events that you set up, and I had a chance to attend. And it's really very important to see another moms trying to do something similar, or they are somewhere ahead or somewhere in a similar situation as I am, for example, and just hear that, okay, it's not just me who it is hard for. It's others are also juggling so many things and trying to do the stuff. And sometimes you really have to sit back and just spend a bit more time with your children. But sometimes you have to prioritize your business as well. So it's really important to have the support, that community, that where you feel comfortable, but also where you feel inspired as well, to just inspired by other women, other parents that run their business. Yeah, thank you so much.
And that's it. I think social media as well plays a huge part in this. In that, there seems to be a massive rise in imposter syndrome, and people looking at other accounts online, like you say, maybe you're in a similar situation, or you may look at an account that does similar to what you do, but they're 5-10 years ahead of you, and you look at them and think, oh goodness, and I wanted to create this community to not encourage imposter syndrome in any way, shape or form. I wanted it to be inclusive, in that no matter what stage you are in your business, whether you've even started it or not, we're all here to help and support you. And I wanted people to lean on each other, and if someone was a few years ahead of another person, for example, I wanted them to be able to go to them and say, look, how did you navigate this aspect, or what happened here? Like, and I just, I think that plays a big part in it as well. And yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the support network, especially when you are starting your business, is very important. Like, I was hearing those thoughts about, oh, you feel so lonely when you are starting your business. And this is true. Like, there are so many things that you don't know when you are starting. And for example, in the mom support group, someone can ask a question, and has been someone who already has been through that situation, and they can support and they can give guidance or some clues about how to solve things. So yeah, it's really supportive. Thank you for sharing this. I was wondering, how do you actually handle the whole the business, the community, and both of your little ones, and how do you have time for this? Do you have any tips? I would be like really really interested in hearing this, because it's overwhelming, and we do long nights, and when you start your business, it's really great that you can work around the different schedules, but it's also like sometimes it's long nights, but you still have to have a lot of energy for both, like for yourself, for your family, and for business as well.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. And I would be lying if I said I had the exact formula that was perfect for me and for anybody. And there are still times now, even 4 years down the line, where I need to take a step back sometimes and reevaluate, not our priorities, but reevaluate my to-do list, for example, and just say, okay, what do I actually need to do today and what can be done tomorrow or the next day or the day after. But there are a few things that I have definitely picked up along the way. So if my, not mistakes, I don't like calling them mistakes, because I think everything in life leads you to where you need to be. So if I didn't make the mistakes that I made previously, then I wouldn't have known how to navigate them now. So let's not call them mistakes. If I could give advice on things that I have learned over the last few years, is 100%, when you're self-employed and you're a mum and all this, even if you're not a mum, to be honest, when you're self-employed, you are the business. So if you break, the business breaks. So one thing that it's took me, I'd say, a long time to come to terms with is that it is not selfish to look after me. It's not selfish to work on me as a person, as well as a business owner and a mum. I am the sort of person, and I still struggle with this a little bit, but I'm the sort of person that if I've got a to-do list, I will not go to sleep. I will not look up from my computer screen until everything is ticked off, and I just feel like I feel like the job's never done. But I actually worked with a life and confidence coach last year, who was from the Mums in Business Networking. And she was fantastic. I worked with her because I'm not afraid to admit I had a bit of a bad burnout last year. I took on a client when I shouldn't have. I didn't have the capacity, but I struggled to say no. And obviously, when you're self-employed, you've got bills to pay, right? So you don't want to say no to income. But it tipped me a little bit, and I was like, okay, I need to just step back, and this is when I need to actually work on me. And the best tip that she ever gave me was, don't ever task yourself more than 3 things a day to each aspect. So for work, don't ever task yourself more than 3 things. They don't have to be huge long projects. They don't have to be 2-minute tasks. It could be a range, but give yourself 3 priorities for each day. So that is something that I religiously do, and I purposely I'm a paper planner, so I purposely have planner inserts that are customized so they have 3 priorities each day. So going into the day, I only have 3 main priorities. If I get other things done, fantastic. If I don't, it's fine. Like that, they're the 3 main things that I need to do on that day. The work-life balance thing, I think, again, I would be lying if I said I had 100% nailed. My husband actually he runs an engineering business as well with quite a few employees. So together we're just like headless chickens sometimes. And it's just like a game of tennis, like, right, who actually needs to do more work this weekend or something. But we have a really, really good routine. So Sundays are family days. That is a non-negotiable unless it is pre-planned and it's to do with a family. Like Sundays are family days. No work, no phones, no nothing. They are family days. That is a non-negotiable. Regardless of workloads, tea time every single night, like dinner time, tea time. That is a non-negotiable. We sit down as a family and have a conversation about our days. Like even with my son, who's 2, he's almost 3. He's really good at communicating. So we'll ask him, we're like, did you have a good day today? Like, what did you do today? And like that to me is just, it takes away the stress of the day and it just resets my brain, having that family time. And call us too organised or whatever, but we have planned date nights in our shared calendars. So me and my husband have a shared calendar for like kids events, social events, things like that. We have planned nights in there where it's like, no, okay, like this is a date night, like no phones, no laptops. And then every other Saturday we tend to share workloads. So one Saturday he'll take care of like the housework and I'll go to his office and just zone out, do a few hours work and catch up, and then vice versa. But I think that's really important, and just like I say, looking after yourself and your mindset. The whole sort of mindset journey is quite new to me, I'd say. But it's something that I'm really enjoying, and I'm really getting into it. I'm definitely enjoying that. And yeah, find something that you enjoy and do that. Like, you need to look after yourself. And it's that old cliche saying that you can't burn a candle from both ends, and you need to prevent burnout before it happens. And yeah, I think a lot of people are like that. And I think people have the perception of when you're busy, you're successful, but that's not the case. Like, it's just not. And I think some people, myself included in the early days, I felt like it was like a competition on who could have the busiest schedule that day and who could have the most lists on the to-do list that day. Like, that's not healthy. And if you want your business to be long term, you need to realize that. And it does not matter how busy you think that you are each day. Like, you need to keep your mind focused. I've tried all of the techniques, like the what's it, is it the Pomodoro?
Pomodoro, yeah, it's
Yeah, that's it. The 25-minute, 5-minute. Yeah, I've tried all of those, and honestly, like, they don't work for me in my brain, because I end up just sat watching the timer, being like, oh no, I've only got 3 minutes left on this task, and like that. That doesn't work for me. It works for some people, which is great. But yeah, 3 tasks a day. That has stuck with me. And calls as well. Like, I think depending on your business and what you do, I have quite a lot of client calls. But if I have a lot of those, or if they're spread out, or if it doesn't work with my calendar, like, it can feel quite draining. So I just have like scheduled days that they are my client call days. So I might be less active on social that day, and that's fine. Like, I'm still doing work, I'm still there. And last but not least is I always schedule a business day. So at least twice a month, where I don't open my emails, I don't do any client work, and it is just focusing on my business. Because I think that gets overlooked a lot. And I think, again, it depends on your business and the nature of your business, but a lot of service providers I know get sort of too busy with client work that they forget that they have a business as well that they need to progress. So yeah, I've started doing that, but none of that would have been possible without delegating and outsourcing quite a lot. Again, I think it was that thing in the beginning where it was like, I can do everything myself, and yeah, I can, but at what cost? So yeah, I happily outsource quite a lot now. And all of them are from my Mums in Business networking group, which is just fantastic. They get it. It's other mums that get it. They're working late nights, like you say. If you've got to, right? But yeah, I outsource quite a lot now. So I would definitely say, if you've got the budget to, it is invaluable to be able to do that. Massively invaluable.
Yeah, I think it's also another skill that we learn as we start our business, is how to outsource things, because we kind of know everything in our head, what we are doing, but then we have to explain to someone else what's our vision, or it's a bit of also letting go of something precious that you are doing to someone else. And really, I think that outsourcing can take different forms, like outsourcing something from your home activities, or like asking someone for help, like with something we do at home, or something we do in other aspects of our lives, but also in business as well. Yeah, I know. For now, I'm the only one doing the thing, and I know I can't do it all. So I know it's something that's holding, for example, my business back as well. But it takes time to outsource as well. Yeah.
Oh no, definitely. And I remember the first time I started outsourcing something, they basically sent me this spreadsheet, and it was basically just, before you outsource anything, just sit and analyze. And obviously you don't have to do this all the time, but just for this purpose, write down every task that you do, whether it's for you, for your business, for your clients, for your home life, like everything that you do day to day, write it down and keep a diary of it, and how long you spend on each task. And then at the end of the month, it was like a traffic light system that you did with like highlighters. So it was like, okay, well, that I really enjoy doing, so I want to keep that, even if it does take me ages. I like doing that. This task I didn't really enjoy doing, but it did only take me a second, this one, and sort of go like that. So yeah, I know loads of business owners and non-business owners who hire, like you say, like like helpful home. So whether that's a cleaner or something like that, and go for it. Like if you don't have the mental capacity to do it, do it. Yeah, it's definitely something that is invaluable to me at this point now. Like self-assessment and tax, and I, I always say this at my networking as well. Like I started this business because I know what I'm doing in marketing. I didn't have a clue what I was doing with running a business. Like, and I'm not afraid to admit that, because it's not something that you are taught in school. I think it's something that should be, at least offered. But yeah, I didn't know how to register with HMRC. Like the really simple things, like I had no idea what to do, and I was Googling everything. So yeah, first year I outsourced my self-assessment. I thought, this took me far too long. I don't understand it, and there's money involved. Like I want out. So yeah, I've got a bookkeeper who does that once a year. That's definitely a non-negotiable for me. But yeah, and yeah, just if you've got the capacity, if you've got the ability to do it, then it's worth its weight in gold if you find the right people.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that what you said, that we always are bombarded with a lot of things, and it's our like responsibility to sit back a little bit and think about what we're actually doing, to prioritize things, because as we are dependent on a business, but there are so many things that are falling on you, and you can get trapped in some daily activities that don't bring too much value to you or your business. So it's really important to sit back and decide what you would like to do, what do you need to do, and what's is the most important for you to do right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Kerry, you mentioned that you that social media helped you to how to say promote, or maybe to make your networking events be available or be discovered by other people. And so I was wondering if we could talk a little bit more about social media, because this is something that I think every, if not every, that most of the businesses need nowadays. Because, for example, I'm just talking from my experience. When I need something, I go online. I usually I Google what I need, and if there's available any social media, I usually check Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it's related to, just to see if the business is still active, if what they are doing is important to me, and just to find a little bit more about the business. Do you think, as a social media expert, do you think that everyone needs social media? How would you go about it?
So I'm really honest, right? And yes, social media is massively important right now. However, what I will say, and what I say to everybody, even clients through discovery calls, if, for example, they come to me and they say, right, I'm a new business, I want to be on everything possible. And I'm like, there's no point. Like, there is no point. One, unless you've got a huge marketing team, being active on 6, 7, 8 different social media platforms is a lot of work. Yes, I can help. But it's a lot of work. You've got to have the right content for it. You've got to also think where your audience are. So I think, as much as, yes, obviously it's important. I wouldn't have had a job for the last 14 years if it wasn't important. However, the level that you're on social media depends on a lot of things. So it depends on the business. So obviously, for like quickly, LinkedIn, primarily business to business. So you don't see, you don't see sort of a lot of high street cafes, for example, on LinkedIn, because it's just not, it's not the place. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be. I'm not saying that they can't be on it, but you don't tend to see that. You've got to think about where your audience are and what you can manage, like what you can realistically manage. I actively promote my clients and anyone who I speak to not get burnout and not be in a position that I almost was last year. So yeah, I think it's invaluable to businesses. And yes, I would recommend that any business is on social media. But that's all I'm gonna say, because obviously it's an individual by individual analysis on how much they should be on social media, how many times they should be posting, which platforms they should be on. But I think having a presence on social media, yes, is invaluable to businesses in 2024.
Is there a direct link from being on social media to having clients coming from social media?
I'd say so, yeah. And I think it depends on your target audience. So I have the majority of my clients are from Instagram. So for me, for my own business, I focus on Instagram because that's clearly where my audience are. I don't have a LinkedIn page for my business because I'm not that active on it. I am active on it and I obviously know how to use it. But for myself, I know that if I was to commit to posting to everything, like I say, I would get burnt out. So I focus on the platforms that work well for me. But just because they work well for me doesn't mean they work well for a social media manager next door, for example. Like they might get their business off LinkedIn. And I think one thing that I think I'll always struggle with is being a social media manager. My social media presence is essentially my shop window. Like I don't have a product to sell, I have a service to sell. So my platforms are essentially like I say, my shop window. However, I do a lot of testing on my platforms. I probably should just set up another account to do this, but this is how I work. Because anything that I advise clients or anyone who I'm speaking to is either from cold hard data and facts, or it's from experience, whether that's mine personal, my previous, my clients, whatever that may be. So I'll never recommend anything without trying it and testing it first. I did have a lot of technical issues with my previous Instagram account, which is really ironic for someone working in social media, right? But it was over a year worth of contact with Meta, obviously on Instagram, trying to resolve these issues, and time after time after time, their only advice was to delete that account and start fresh. And as much as I didn't want to do it, because obviously you build up that engagement, you build up that following, everything, I just thought, you know what, I need to do it. So yeah, it's hard for me at the minute, I think, because even now, even though I'm training myself not to have that imposter syndrome, I even look at my phone, I'm like, oh, I'm so brand new and I've only got a few hundred followers and all this. And I'm like, but I know, and I practice what I preach. Follower count is a vanity metric. It does not mean anything whatsoever. Like I was fully booked and sold out and replaced my 9-to-5 income with less than 200-300 followers, right, like 4 years ago. So I know follower count doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I think that's something like I'm still coming to terms with, because I'm like, oh goodness, like if someone wants to work with me and stumbles on my social media and sees I only have a few hundred followers, are they going to think, well, she's not very good? But I'm like, no, like, because there's a reason behind that. I had thousands of followers before. And yeah, I practice what I preach. I tell all my clients followers don't mean anything, and I actively remove followers for myself and for my clients on a regular basis. So yeah, I need to practice what I preach.
Why do you do it?
Why do I remove followers? So okay, really long story. I could go on about this all day. Like I always say, it's not how many people interact with you and see your content, it's who sees your content. So your post could go viral and have, I don't know, 20,000 views, for example. But if only 1% of those are your actual target audience and who are potentially going to buy from you, then what does it matter? Like, it is purely a vanity metric. And the way that the algorithms work is when you post something on social media, it only goes to a small percentage of your followers. And depending on what they do with your content, whether they engage with it, it has a long watch time, if it's a reel, if they comment, like, share, etc. Depending what they do with it, depends whether Instagram or the other platforms will promote it to more people. So if your followers are irrelevant, inactive, spam accounts, fake accounts, whatever they may be, they're actually damaging your reach, like your potential for reach. So yeah, that is one tip I will always give people, because I think, again, a lot of people with like growing up with social media being so active, people do try and focus on followers and they think, oh, well, they must be a really good business because they've got 40,000 followers. But what does that mean? Like, what does that actually mean? Like, it means nothing. It's just a number. And there are talks of them rearranging that home screen on Instagram so that a follow account isn't as predominant when you first log in to your profile, which I think will be good for a lot of people. But yeah, that is, if anything comes from this or from me waffling on, it's not how many people see you, it's who sees you that matters. Like, having thousands of followers might be great, but if you haven't got the money in your bank account, what good is that to a business owner? Like, if you're an influencer, yeah, focus on the followers and focus on all that sort of stuff and going viral, even though there's no algorithm to that. Yeah, but for a business owner, it's who sees your content as opposed to how many.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing this. I think it's very important to hear, and it's relieving to hear that I just also do the same. I remove some followers. I would say I don't have like a lot of followers right now because I also recently started my account. But I remove some bots, I don't know, some fake accounts, some accounts that are like, truly creepy because
Yeah.
I run local business. So I'm a bit worried and sometimes scared that when I see some of the accounts, so I remove them and block them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I think it's very important to hear that it's not the amount of followers that you have that matters. It's really the amount of the good connections that you have on your profiles. It's yeah, it's important to understand that amount of views doesn't equal the amount of customers that you have.
No, it doesn't. And I think, take everything that you see online with a pinch of salt.
Mm.
Because I've had clients in the past that want to completely stay away from their own social media because they get like triggered when they go onto it and they see all this content, and it's like, say, another service provider, and this service provider, for example, is always talking about how much they're earning X amount per month and they're doing this and they're living this lifestyle. And I've had clients come to me and be like, well, it's depressing me because that's what I want. And it's like, well, firstly, how do you know that it's true? Like, how do you know that it's true? Not everything that you see is online is real, right? Like, all these fake stories that you see online, like, it's not all real. And I think a lot of people only share the good on social media. And it's one thing I'm trying, obviously, my best to practice what I preach and share the good, the bad, the ugly, like everything. Not every day is a walk in the park. Like, not every day is filled with, I don't know, happy children at the breakfast table and how happy they are to go to school. Like, some days they have tantrums and that's okay. Like, that's normal.
I would
And I
say
think
most of the
people,
days I have to push through the morning before I start
yeah,
work.
exactly right. But people go to social media and a lot of people only share the perfect lives. And it's like, you see all these home accounts, and I love following the ones that show the like Instagram versus reality, because not every house looks like a show house, especially when you've got kids. And it's unrealistic expectations, I think, when people do that. So yeah, another bit of advice: if ever you are triggered by anything you see on social media, block them. Like, just don't open yourself up to it. If you understand what your triggers are, what type of content you don't want to see, don't do it. Like, if you don't, whether it's your business or your personal account, if you don't log into the app and feel inspired and motivated and excited to be on there, then something's got to change. Like, either you're spending too long on it, or you're not following the right people, or yeah, something's got to give on there.
I think we have to be quite mindful about what we are feeling when we are looking at those profiles or just log into Instagram, because sometimes you log in and you feel inspired and you are like, okay, I will go and do this and this, and I know what are my next steps. But sometimes um, you don't feel that, but you also can't understand what's wrong. Like your mood is a bit low.
Yeah.
You are not feeling your best after scrolling social media, and that's the time to realize, okay, it's probably there was something that I shouldn't be consuming really.
Yeah, 100%. And I think for any, what I always say to my clients, for any business on social media, there needs to be a balance. And I think you always should be creating more content than you're consuming.
Mm.
So if you're spending hours upon hours doom scrolling, whatever you want to call it, then something's got to happen and you've got to flip that and start creating more content, because doom scrolling is not going to get you anywhere. And again, I'm a huge advocate for taking breaks on social media to avoid that burnout. Yes, the algorithm might not like you as much, but again, like, it's at what cost? And I'm an honest social media manager. I don't like the social media experts out there that say you need to be posting 3 times a day, 7 days a week to do this, and you need to be posting so many reels and so many stories. Like, that's one formula that might work for one person, but at what cost? Like, that's not going to be applicable for everybody. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate for turning push notifications off, for setting time limits on apps. If you've got an iPhone, I use the downtime thing, so I literally can't access apps out of hours. Like, and I obviously manage a lot of social media accounts, but that's how I work. Like, you can't be on social media every single day. Like, that's how people are growing up these days, and it's sad. It's sad. I think you need to be using it for its benefits and for its purpose, and not for, like I said, the imposter syndrome, the doom scrolling, the yeah, like when you're having the down days. So yeah, social media is fantastic when it's used for its purpose in business and to its potential.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. So you mentioned already quite a few tips on how to actually do social media. Like, for example, not trying to do it all, try to curate what you are consuming and trying to create more than you are consuming social media. Um, do you have any tips that help really to enjoy it? Because I know not everyone enjoys creating content for social media, but it's something that really helps to stay connected with, especially for business owners, to stay connected with their audience, with their followers, and it's a big part of today's business. How to make it more enjoyable, a bit maybe.
No, it sort of goes back to what I know I've touched upon, in that there are so many social media platforms out there. You've got to find the ones where, yeah, your audience are, but the ones that you enjoy using and you know how to use. So I have a range of clients from a range of industries, a range of ages, experience in social media and everything like this. And I had one come to me and they said, look, the thought of an Instagram video reel, she was like, whatever you want to call them, scares the hell out of me, and I do not want to do it. And I was like, okay, as much as I can recommend them and say how good they can be and how much they're being pushed by the algorithms, etc., you don't have to do them. Like, there's no law book to say you have to do a Instagram reel to be successful on Instagram. There are accounts out there with millions of followers and engagement that have never posted a reel in their life, and that's okay. So I think it goes back to thinking about which platforms you enjoy using, which type of content you like producing. So if you, for example, hate creating the visuals and all that sort of stuff and the nice pretty graphics, and if you don't have an abundance of content, then maybe Instagram might not be right for you. And I think it's a balancing act of where your audience are and what you enjoy and like doing. And I will always say to my clients, I push them a little bit out of the comfort zone, but to a nice level. Like if they get to the point where they want to run and cry, I'm like, okay, I've maybe gone too far. Um, and I'll always recommend, and I'll always be asking for videos and for talking videos for reels and things. But if they genuinely have like heart palpitations at the thought of doing it, I'm obviously not going to push it. And I think that's what makes me different to other social media managers. Like it's not a one rule fits all. It's not like you have to enjoy it. So yeah, find what you enjoy creating. If like I say, if you hate doing the visuals, then maybe LinkedIn, X, Facebook, maybe they're more for you. Like you don't have to create visuals for those. So find what you enjoy doing and what content you like doing. If you've got an iPhone, I'm sure there's equivalents to Android, but like I say, I use the downtime and set app limits. So you get a notification on social media if you've gone over your proposed sort of time for that day. Just to limit it and have at least 1 day break a week. That you've got to recharge those batteries. You have to recharge those batteries. For me, I'm obviously I'm on my phone quite a lot. So I still now don't have the willpower to have my phone out, but not just grab it. So on a Sunday, I just either lock it away or have it on Do Not Disturb, so I don't get anything through at all. Yeah, you've got to find that balance.
Yeah, definitely. It's a journey. It's really a journey because you learn a lot about yourself as well when you reflect and you try different things. As you mentioned, you tried, for example, with productivity, you tried Pomodoro, it didn't work for you. It doesn't work for me either. Or like having minute by minute timetable doesn't work for me, for example, because our days are so unpredictable. And with social media, it's the same. Like you have to experiment and see what works for you, and hopefully makes you happier and more fulfilled because of the business growth and as a person as well.
Exactly. And it's like it's not the end of the world. If you thought in your head, oh, I really want to post a reel today, but it gets to 5-6 o'clock and the kids are creating havoc, having tea time, and all you want to do is switch off on the night, like your business is not it's not going to fall off the face of the earth if that reel goes out tomorrow. Like it's not. And I think that's what again makes me different to other social media managers. Like have a plan and stick to it and as best you can. And obviously consistency is always going to be key. But that's when I really scale it down. Like I'll say to clients, okay, what can you commit to posting each week? And I can guarantee on discovery calls, they're like, okay, I want to do like 7 posts a week. And I'm like, okay, but do you have capacity to do that? Like really? And I can guarantee most of them will scale back and just do like 2 to 3 times a week. Like, yes, it's going to be a little bit longer before you see those huge growths and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, like I think you are the business, and if you crumble and fall, then so does your business. So you've got to prioritize that. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Kerry. Thank you for our discussion. It's so refreshing to hear the truth, the honesty about posting on social media, and something really, I would say, I don't know how to say it, maybe something like tangible and realistic, something that can be implementable in the life that is where business is part of the life. It can be a big one, but it's really a part of life where we also do some other things. We care about our health and our families and everything else. Thank you so much for sharing your, like, first of all, motivation and some inspiration and also some practical tips. I really, really enjoyed to hear them. And thank you.
No, thank you for having me.